Alright, man, so I've been looking for a new apartment here in Tokyo. I've lived here for almost 2 years now. When I came here, I applied to school through this agency, this online agency, right? And they hook you up with your school, and they also offer you apartments that are friendly for foreigners who have like English help, and they're called Sonaetsuki apartments. Sonaeru is like to prepare, tsuki is like tsuku, comes from the verb tsuku, like attached. So it's like attached with prepared things. So they have these apartments that are like already set up with furniture, microwave, fridge, bed, blankets, everything you might need. If you live in one of these apartments, it's all foreigners. It's all where like the ryugakse, the international students live and such, the foreign exchange students. So I applied to one of those places, and not only do they have all that stuff, they also have like English help. By the way, I just got this protein milk, macadamia chocolate protein milk, and an oatmeal protein cookie from this place called Happy Brook. It's in Numabukuro in Nakano. It's really fire. So, anyways, I applied to a place like that, and not only do they have like all this stuff already set up for you and ready to go, and internet is included, so you don't have to set it up. You don't have to buy a bunch of shit when you move to the new country. But additionally, they have English help. Everyone speaks English, so if you're a foreigner, you don't understand Japanese, anytime you're worried about something, you can just go to the office and they'll help you. And they'll even actually help you with like other things, like if you are confused about something about moving to Japan, like adjusting to the area, you can go there, and a lot of times the people will help you. So I'm not making this video to like talk shit about those places, but naturally when they're helping you with all the types of shit like that, you're also going to have to pay extra. You're going to have to pay more because you don't have any other options, and because they're providing you these services. So I live in like a 12 square meter apartment, literally small as fuck, and I can't change anything in there. Even though I've been there for 2 years, I can't change anything because it's all like I'm renting all of the shit there, and it's all included in the apartment. So I can't change anything. I can't really do anything to it. And now I'm going into college. I want to start saving a little bit more money. I've adjusted to Japan. I speak Japanese. I know the language. I know the lay of the land. I know where to buy things. I have friends that can help me out. And I've decided, like, you know what, fuck it. I'm out of this place. I don't need to keep paying so much. I'm paying nanaman en, which is 70,000 yen every month, which is like $500, which by American standards doesn't sound like too much, but it is small, and the wages are super low here, so it does wear on me a little bit. But anyways, at this point, I'm like, I need to take the dive, just like with anything in general, guys. If you're moving to a new country, you have to take the hard route. If you're worried about something, are you just going to worry about it the entire time you live there forever? Like, if you don't speak Japanese and you're like, hey, I'm going to get my daughter to, like, translate for me or something because she speaks Japanese, you know, she's half Japanese or whatever. I'm going to get my friend to just translate for me, or I'm going to get my friend to do this thing for me. Are you just going to do that every single time you need help with anything if you live in this country? There are people I know who have been living here for 10, 20, 25 years, and they can't do a single thing at the Kuyakusho, the city hall, by themselves. They have to always bring like their kid, which is ridiculous to force your kid to help you with something like that, or they have to bring a friend or something like that. And at what point are you just going to be like, fuck it, I'm going to learn some Japanese. After all, I am here in Japan, and you're going to do it yourself. And once you put yourself through it enough times, I know it's uncomfortable, but once you put yourself through it enough times, then you learn how to do it. You can be self-sufficient. And like, what kind of man, a person in general, wants to rely on someone else to just help them with every little thing like that? So I think that's ridiculous. At this point, I'm like, I've had enough of the English help and the English assistance. Even in like all the other areas here in Japan, I've been avoiding English as much as I possibly can. But at this point, like, with this serious thing, as serious as like contract leases and apartment leases and apartment contracts are, I think I'm ready to take the dive. So I've been looking for a new apartment, and for the last few weeks I've been going down to Fudosan real estate offices like every single weekend, talking to people, trying to find apartments that would allow me to live there, not only as a foreigner, which is, you know, I'll get into that, but additionally as a student. Because students don't make much money, so like you have to prove your salary, you have to prove that you have the funds to support yourself, obviously, when you apply at an apartment, which is already hard enough in like America or maybe your home country, but in a different country, especially one as strict as Japan, it's a real hassle. So anyways, I've been going around to these fudosan, the real estate offices, for the last few weeks, and this dude who's like 50 years old at my gym, I kind of brought the conversation up to him like kind of nonchalantly. I wasn't doing the Japanese thing or the weird like introvert thing where you bring something up hoping that they're going to say they'll come with you or something like that. Like, I wasn't being dishonest. I genuinely just brought this conversation up, and he was like, hey, if you want me to help you, like, I would be happy to take you around to the Fudosan and show you around and take you to some places where I actually know the people there. And I was like, holy shit, like, no way, like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So, like, Saturday at, like, noon to this place, and my buddy sat there and, like, told them everything and helped me. And not only did he help me the whole time, but he messaged all of his friends. This, like, keep in mind, this guy's just a guy from my gym, and he's, like, 50 years old. He messaged, like, all of his friends. He made a group chat with me and two of his friends that I don't even really know, and started, like, saying, hey, this is my friend Jimmy. I know you guys know more about real estate than I do. Is there any advice you can offer him? And they gave me a bunch of really useful advice, and they were, like, super happy to support me, and they were complimenting my Japanese in the group chat. Like, it was just, like, so incredibly humbling and just heartwarming, kind of. And then anyways, I went with him to these offices, and I had heard people in the past say that apartments don't want to work with foreigners. They don't want to give foreigners apartment contracts. And like a lot of things here in Japan, it seems like people, like foreigners, just like kind of say things like that, like, oh, they don't like foreigners here, they don't like foreigners. Okay, well, you never even made an attempt to learn Japanese. You never even made an attempt to learn how to bow. You don't follow any of the Japanese, cultural rules. And then you're angry that they don't like foreigners, they don't accept you. I've lived here for 10 years and I don't have a single Japanese friend. Dude, you don't put yourself out there, you don't attempt to learn the language, you don't try to talk to Japanese people. It's a two-way road, buddy. But anyways, I was thinking when people say that, like, apartments don't work with foreigners, it was kind of a similar thing like that. But I had a rude awakening because I sat at this office and we pulled up like 10 places that looked kind of like within my needs, some places where I might like to live. And he's like, all right, let's call these places. The guy that worked there, my friend sitting next to me, and I swear to God, we called place after place after place. And what he does is he calls and he's like, hey, this is me from blah 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 kaisha, kabushiki gaisha, like, company. I'm working with someone here who's looking for an apartment. These are basically the terms. It's an international student, and every single time he brought up that I was a foreigner, before student, he usually just said, hey, I'm working with gaikokuseki no kata, which is like a person of foreign heritage. And every single time he brought that up, it's like I could hear him through the phone. They would say, gaikokuseki no kata, chotto muzukashii desu ne. And they said it every single time, minus like 2 times. We probably called like 10 places at the first place we went to. Like, literally, probably like 8 out of 10 places that we called said, like, just straight up said, oh, like, sorry, like, it's a little difficult to work with foreigners, aka, like, we don't want to work with foreigners. And I was totally taken back by that. And my friend was too. And then I felt bad, and I felt like I was, causing a bunch of trouble and stress and, awkward energy to the guy who was also working at the real estate office. And things were just really awkward because then every time he hangs up the phone and he has to, like, tell me to my face, like, hey, yeah, so, like, here's the thing, like, they don't work with foreigners, and then he feels awkward, and I just felt like it was really the most significant experience I've had here that has really, like, turned me off and made me feel like, what am I doing here? Like, do I belong here in Japan? Do people even want me here? Like, is this even regardless if they want me here or not, like, for whatever reason, is it even worth it to go through all this trouble to be here? So we went to that place, and one place ended up saying they were okay with foreigners, and it looked kind of like reasonable, like something I might like. And we went there, and then it turned out to be like a little too far away from, like, the area where I actually want to be living. So we turned that place down, and we went to another place and went through the same thing, like 10 more places, and I think 2 places said they would work with foreigners. And it was tough. And actually, the guy who I was talking to at the real estate agency at this place spoke English. He every time, like, was embarrassed, and naturally I'm embarrassed too because all these places just say they don't work with foreigners. And it's a super. Let me take a bite of my cookie, man. By the way, I'm sorry for my hanagoe. Hana, nose. Koe, voice. Hanagoe. I have a nasally voice because I'm kind of sick. And anyways, where the fuck was I? Take a sip of my chocolate macadamia protein milk. This cookie's fire, bro. Pineapple and prune oatmeal cookie. This is really... Anyways, where the fuck was I? Oh yeah, so I went to the second place. Called like 10 places. Found one place that looked reasonable, and they said they would deal with foreigners. Went there, checked it out, looked alright. So I had one place in mind that I might want to apply to, and then my friend, and then I was like, hey, I'm just gonna think about it a little bit. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna sleep on it naturally. And I go home, and then my friend texts me, this guy from the gym, this 50-year-old dude. I said, like, not acting like he's not my friend, saying when I say 50-year-old dude, but it's not like it's my boy that I hang out with all the time who I would expect to help me. It's just this guy from my gym. Cool ass dude, man. Like, so cool. And he wants to learn English and stuff, and he's just like so nice. And he goes home and he does a bunch of more research, and he sets up an appointment for us the next day to go to another place. And at this point, I was in bed. I was like kind of crying, like not crying, but I was like, I was simping a little bit. I was like draking out, like thinking like, man, like I don't know if this shit's worth it, man. Should I just go home? Like, should I just like pack my shit up and go back to America? Like, should I stay in my current place with like the shitty situation it is now? And like it's just like all such a hassle, man. Like I was really frustrated. And then he messaged me and was like, hey, just so you know, I have another appointment for us tomorrow at noon. I was like, Jesus Christ, bro, like, you for real? Like, all right, like, you didn't need to do that, but thank you. And he's like, yeah, in this place, I've done business with the owner before, so I'm going to tell them that, like, they better hook you up. And I was like, no fucking way. So we show up, go through a bunch more places, and again, this time it's a woman who's helping us out, and she's really nice, man. Just, like, very, like, I don't know how to describe it other than just, like, motherly, just warm, really polite, really nice energy. Like, just a really nice, like, kind of older Japanese woman. And going through the same things. We're calling place after place after place, and they're just like, yeah, we're not interested in working with this foreigner. And then she's all awkward, and she feels bad, and she's apologizing to me even though it's not her fault. And then she was like, oh, it's a shame that they just say no when they hear it's a foreigner. They're not even interested in talking to you or meeting you or seeing if you understand Japanese. And I was like, yeah, like, I mean, hey, fuck it. It is what it is. And by the way, here's the thing, like, there may be a million different reasons that they don't want to work with foreigners, but from what I understand is, obviously, so many of the foreigners here don't understand Japanese, and they don't make any effort to understand Japanese. And, like, obviously, that's meiwaku o kakechau ne, putting a nuisance onto other people if you don't understand Japanese and they're trying to do business with you. So many fucking people here in Japan, especially Tokyo, especially this time of year, people that are moving different places, because school's starting soon, like students looking for houses, like rooms are going to get filled up. And if they have to work with a foreigner who might not understand the language, and also another thing that a lot of foreigners have done, and I've heard it, and I've even like thought about, not that I would do this, but like the idea has like crossed my mind of like, I could just do this, is like, I could just like pack my shit up tomorrow and I can buy a plane ticket and go home and like never contact anyone here in Japan. And like let's be honest, they're not really going to do shit. Like, they're not going to chase me back to America, like, probably, right? They're not going to chase me back into America and, like, persecute me, right? Like, if I'm not paying my rent and shit. But that's going to cause a huge problem to not only, like, my apartment company and so many other things, like my school and shit here. And apparently, from what I understand, like, a whole bunch of foreigners have done that. And then it's like, yeah, like, we can't chase you into your country and then persecute you. So, like, it's just not even, like especially an international student, not even just, like, someone who, like, lives here long term or something like that, but, like, an international student, it's like the odds that you're just gonna, like, you might just dip and then you can just, like, cut off all contact with us and we're not gonna be able to chase you back to your fucking country. Like, it's just not worth our time. And if you're, like, angry about, like, the Japanese English thing, it's like, okay, definitely I get you have some right to be angry. Like, of course it's unfair that they don't even want to look at you. They don't even want to give you a shot. But a large percentage of the whole issue is because foreigners live here and don't make any effort at all to learn the language. So, like, if you want the things to get better, it starts with you. If you want the circumstances for foreigners in Japan to get better, it starts with you. You need to start being a foreigner that follows the rules, that respects the Japanese tradition, the Japanese language, the Japanese culture. So, where was I? So like I was going to say, I obviously I don't like it. I don't like it that they're turning me down as a foreigner without even giving me a shot. Obviously, I'm angry about it. Obviously, I'm salty. But I can't help but kind of understand where they're coming from. So I don't want, like, before people come on this video and are like, oh, see, I told you Japan's racist, and I told you Japan fucking sucks, and, like, they're a bunch of dumbass, like, racist, isolationist idiots over there. Like, I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I'm not saying that people don't like that don't exist here. Like, of course they will exist, but don't just think that it's just that black and white. There are foreigners who don't act accordingly, and Japan also, maybe doesn't give you the benefit of the doubt if you're a foreigner. Like, no doubt. But I just want to like put that in your mind, something to think about, if you're a foreigner here. But something funny as fuck also is, let me take a bite of my cookie, man. Can you guys just chill out for a second? Let me take a bite of my cookie. Something also I think is funny is I know for a fact somebody is watching this video right now, and somebody's saying, "This guy's such a dumbass, dude. He really thinks that he can't find an apartment in Japan. I searched for an apartment in English online on Google in Japan, and I found a whole bunch that say they accept foreigners." Like everything, dude, if you don't speak Japanese, if you're not trying to get into the real Japanese culture, whether it be dating girls that don't speak English here, whether it be going to a school that's not an international foreign school, whether it be searching for an apartment in English on Google that specifically only gives you English results for apartments that are willing to work with foreigners who only speak English, you don't know what you're talking about. Just because you searched in English on Google and you said, hey, like, apartments in Japan, and then it came up with English websites that are specifically engineered to work with foreigners who don't speak Japanese, doesn't mean there aren't apartments here who won't accept foreigners, man. Like, it's the same thing with, like I said, with like dating girls here. I was like, yeah, like most Japanese girls generally aren't that interested in dating foreigners. And then like so many people are like, bro, you're literally an idiot. I went to an international school in Japan and all the girls there were all over me. Dude, that's an international school. Obviously, it's for people who are interested in international things, who are interested in foreign culture. Of course the girl's going to be like that, but what percentage of like Japanese girls do you think that is? It's like fucking like 5% of people. Like, come on, man. Same thing with like with the language and shit, when like people are like, oh, like, are you kidding me? This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I made so many Japanese friends who speak English. Like, dude, that's because you don't speak Japanese. And that's because you're searching for the places where foreigners are accepted. People don't know what the hell you're talking about. But anyways, I digress. Where the fuck was I going with this shit? So, take a sip of my milk here. Take a sip of mommy's milk. Goddamn, that's good. Getting to the point here, I ended up finding a place through this third place that I went with this really nice lady. We ended up finding a place that's in my same neighborhood, in the same neighborhood that I currently am staying. Dude, the rent is like $325 a month. It's old as fuck, but it's larger than my current place. There's nothing in there. There's not even a fridge, anything, but it's cheap as hell, and the area is convenient enough. And anyways, they let me apply, and so I applied, and today they just got back to me and said, hey, things are looking like pretty good. Like, I think you can actually sign the contract. So next week it looks like I'm going to go and sign the contract. It says that I need hanko. Hanko is like the, what do you call it, like the wax stamp that you use to like stamp your name here in Japan. Like you stamp your kanji name. But usually if you're a foreigner here, they let you just hand sign. However, for an apartment, it's kind of a serious thing, like a real Japanese apartment. It's a serious thing, so I might need to get a hanko. Anyways, I emailed the apartment agency like an hour ago, and I asked them if I can just hand sign, so hopefully they'll get back to me soon. And I might have a legit-ass apartment here, and I'm going to like make all types of videos in there. I'm going to have like a dope-ass setup, guys. I can't wait to show you guys if I move into this place. But yeah, like, if you are a foreigner in Japan, moving to Japan, something to keep in mind, man. Please don't take this the wrong way. Don't take this as me saying, like, oh, Japan sucks, Japan's racist, Japan hates foreigners. Believe me, there are two sides to this story. However, it is very difficult to get an apartment here. It's a long process. Not only just because the Japanese and the verbiage is going to be difficult when you go to sign contracts and shit like that, but, like, literally they will straight up say outright that they won't accept you because you're a foreigner. So just something to think about. It's been a really trying time for me for the last few weeks. It's really the first time that I've been here in Japan, the first time since I've been here in Japan that I've just been like, oh man, like not that I hate this area, or not that I hate this place or anything like that, but just like, this is so difficult for me just because I'm a foreigner. Is this really where I want to be? Like, I'm spending all this energy trying to get accepted here, trying to just be normal here, not even do anything great, just get accepted at the bare minimum. Just the bare, come on, man, just a crumb. All I'm asking for is a crumb. And it's just been that difficult, and it's really made me wonder, like, should I just go home? Like, should I just say fuck it on all this shit? But so I was feeling like really shitty this whole past week, and I was thinking like, even though I applied to this place, they're not gonna accept me. And then I said this in my other video, but Friday night we had this going away party for some friends from my gym, and also my coach became champion. And then at the party, like, they also heard that I was going to be going back to America for a little bit to get my new visa for college. And like all my friends from the gym were just so supportive of me, and not only that, but they were talking about the apartment situation, and they're like going to bat for me at the table and saying like, all these places turned Jimmy down just because he's a foreigner. Like, fuck those places, we need to go there. And they were getting all pissed off for me, and it just really warmed my heart and feel like, wow, it made me feel like, like, no matter where you go, man, if you act right, if you treat people with respect, if you respect the culture, like, you can get respect in return, and you can make some really dope friends. And I had just like a great time. I'm gonna try to include a video, maybe if I'm gonna try to include a video from the party, but yeah, I definitely needed that after this past week of feeling like an outcast, like a complete total dumbass and outcast here in Japan. So uh, yeah, regardless, we got through that hump, and it looks like we're gonna get this apartment. So something to keep in mind for sure if you're a foreigner and you're coming to Japan, guys. That is no joke. They will straight up say we don't work with foreigners here. So thank you for watching. My name is yungjamez, YUNGJAMEZ. If you guys want to hit me up on Instagram, please send me a message. Just talk some shit. Tell me I'm ugly. Tell me what you want to suck me dry. Whatever you guys want to do. And thank you for watching. If you guys want to join my Discord, send me $5 on PayPal, which is in the description. Or just donate. Whatever, guys, please. Thank you so much. I love y'all. Alright. Peace out. Take care, guys.